Hey y'all, welcome to the Black Witch Chronicles. Today we're here, it's just me and Dr. G Love. And today our topic for discussion is Black women, our well of rage, and its productiveness in societal movements and collective healing. Um, so often is the case that we are ostracized as Black women for our rage. There is no proper place to put it. There is no proper way to be in your rage, and there is no proper place for healing. When you ostracize a person for their rage, they become shameful, hide it, and it kicks up a lot of emotional and physical trauma for our bodies. So today, me and Dr. G will be speaking. Hey, G, introduce yourself.
Hello, Dr. G Love here, Five Directions Wellness. I'm here with our lovely Mama Oya, uh, warrior goddess of storms and death, as well as the marketplace. I pulled a card from the Orisha deck, and of course, this is who came to visit for, I think, very obvious reasons. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, this is the topic as far as I'm concerned. We're going to have a series of Black Witch Chronicles on this issue. I went to a dinner party this summer when I was up in Vermont, and at one point a woman, was like, "Uh-oh, are you an angry Black woman?" When we were talking about politics, and I just was like, this is just so annoying that trope is out there and that people just want to immediately be like, oh, like immediately write you off. Like, okay, based on your gender and the color of your skin, if you feel passionate about something, I can just write you off as an angry Black woman and keep it moving. Oh, Lakeisha, have we lost you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Great. um, so, yeah, one of the things that I get quite often when I'm passionate about something, when I'm passionate about a discussion, like at my job, there's a discussion being talked about regarding pay equity. And I'm very passionate about equitable pay, especially for people of color in this country who have not had a history of equitable pay. Um, and when you're in conversation that is very touchy and needs a healing space to go, people will kind of disregard your argument because you don't say it in a proper way, because you have not filtered the rage out of it that you've been traumatized or emotionally attached to for a very, very long time. But they don't own up to their part of the responsibility for your rage. When they call you an angry Black woman, they don't own up to the social responsibility or what caused our anger and how it's been useful to push this country and this economy forward. America wouldn't be America without Black women's rage, because in that rage we have birthed a nation, carried a community on our backs, saved babies, nurtured babies to college, to productive lives and productive citizenship. We've done so much. We've carried so much of the burden. So when they say, "Oh, you're rageful or you're angry, they don't take into consideration their responsibility behind that rage, and they don't want to see it. Like when we become these angry people, what we're doing is holding up a mirror to society and the rest of those that are before us and saying, look at ways in which you have engaged this rage, or look at ways that you yourself are enraged and hurt and feeling trauma.
Yeah, I find that in general, this is something we have to take on for ourselves. Our own relationship to our rage is going to have to be something that we have to empower each other through, because the bottom line is we're being shamed for it, and in most cases we're more than being shamed for it, we're being further enraged for it. It's like the society is built to actually feed the fuel of the rage rather than support, balance, and quell that rage. And so for me, the issue is, how do I make sure that I'm in environments that can support me as I move through the necessary process of venting and understanding the legacy from which I come. I come from a legacy that is fraught with endless assaults and rape and disenfranchisement and oppression. And nothing about the privileges that I currently have would make me be able to or want to erase that. The privileges that I have in 2014 allow me to actually take the time and the energy to process that distress and that pain and that suffering for all of the generations upon which I stand. That is part of the work that I have here, and I find that it is and has been too much for me to ask of others to really understand that, because at the end of the day, people will want to push back against it. At the end of the day, people will want to say, look, I have my own problems and my own issues and my own concerns. I can't be around your stuff. So for me, really owning my work as a bridge generation, as the first real critical mass of women globally who are capable of accessing emotional states that we could not access because of patriarchy, I have to prioritize that in my life regardless of what it looks like, because my foremothers have really had to bite the bullet no matter what. And I can, by any means necessary, actually, that's what I have the privilege to do, to by any means necessary allow myself to feel true feelings of sadness, despair, rage, anger, and frustration without fear of being killed for it, frankly. And so for that, I give thanks, and I reach out to my fellow sisters for reflection and support. And at this time, that's really where I am in the conversation.
So I feel like, though, and I hear you in that, that we have got to definitely create our own spaces. But I feel like when we have to hold our tongues for those spaces that we create, that we can't show emotion in the presence of like the immediate what's going on, like we can't show that rage immediately. When we have to hold it until we get into safe spaces, that creates a dying inside of us all the time. Like it's a slow death. Like I have to hold my tongue, I have to hold my peace. There is no sacred space, and until I find that sacred space, there's going to be something that dies within me the whole time until I can feel like, oh, I'm safe, I'm in my sister's presence, or whoever those people, those spirit people that can hold that rage for us until we can get it out. I feel like there's a dying inside.
I agree. I believe that that dying inside can be reflected historically and presently in many black women in the form of cancer, fibroids, autoimmune disease, including rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, and all kind of little diseases that we're finding ourselves capable of being susceptible to. Lupus. This is what that internalized, a legacy of internalized rage and pain, the strength and grace that it takes to continue forward the next day after a rape, after an assault, after being beaten, after being belittled, is amazing. And that is the strength and grace that we've inherited. And so, yeah, I do think that it's a health hazard, Keisha. I really, in my mind and heart, know that it's a health hazard. It certainly has been for me, because there's this expectation that somehow some kind of puritanical, Eurocentric politeness is still the default mode for Americans of all hues that I interact with. It's the main default mode. And I'm like, but I already know that that good behavior is the behavior of the very same people who would oppress an entire planet and kill all the trees and animals for their own gain. So I don't feel particularly comfortable just because a person's able to modulate their voice and speak in a way that doesn't include any real strong emotion, because to me that's suspicious. That's behavior that I was taught in school by my Catholic school people who also feel comfortable with the Crusades.
Right. And I mean, and it's just, I think that we need to risk being the crazy at the being the crazy at the parties, being the crazy at the crazy at the boardroom tables, being emotional, like being seen as these, and it's a risk. It's a risk, that people may see you as the other, as the squeaky wheel all the time, as the person that is going to push the envelope, like they hate to see you coming in a way, right? But we be in those moments where and risk everything to be seen as that crazy person who is willing to go there and fight for equality and say, look, I do have this anger. I think there's a piece in the New York Times right now where they're calling Shonda Rhimes, the creator of Grey's Anatomy and this amazing writer, calling her an angry black woman. And it's so very public. I feel like their degrading of us is so very public that we have no other choice but to be very public with our disputes with these people who continue to degrade, and misjudge us, and also continue to kill our kids in the streets. There's no protection, no.
Keisha, come back to us. I wonder, out here in the audience, if you see me or if you see Lakeisha. If you see me, I'm going to talk. If Lakeisha's talking and I just can't hear her, then I'm sorry, I'm speaking over her. I'm going to speak. Here's the thing, the power of Mammy. I really like to bring Mammy onto the scene. We got that Sugar Sphinx over there in New York right now, that art installation. And, that's because there's this real sense that black women are supposed to have everything under control. The whole strong black woman and angry black woman is two sides of the same coin. Um, even for me, when I've been going through deep immersion into my own trauma and my own rage, I find that close people in my life really wanted to support me, but ultimately, if they got close enough to me, they were more inclined, even though they said they wanted to support me, and I believe they really wanted to support me from their hearts, they still couldn't help but want to get that support because this magic, this sort of sense of knowledge, my ability to access my wisdom zones comes so innately that it's like, well, what can I get off you anyway? It's very hard for people to figure out how to support us because we are perceived by many as stronger than most. And in a time of crisis, people want to go to a strong person. So if the strong person, aka Mammy, is feeling like they need some space, then we got an issue for the whole society, which has been, rearing itself on the breast of the black woman. So that right there is some serious food for thought that I contemplate quite a bit. How do I own both of those roles? And I realize that I can't own both of those roles. My wisdom is my wisdom. It's just like my beauty. It's something that causes people outside of me excitement and attraction. And that's not for me to worry about. What's for me to worry about is my own spiritual growth. And if my spiritual growth requires that I play way outside of the box because other people in my life